Our busy lives can make trying to unwind the mind a real thing, a real challenge. Between work, maybe you have kids, keeping up with social media. We can't help but fear the stress of all the demands on our time and what we do with it. Our guest has some ideas. Take back your control. She's author and life coach Valorie Burton. Valorie is the best-selling author of a dozen books. Her latest is called It's About Time. And it certainly is. Valorie, good to see you.
Good to see you, Susan.
You talk about false urgency.
Yes.
And how really you're now battling for your own time, so much so that advertisers are putting big bucks hoping you do stay on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, advertisers pay more. The longer you stay on those sites, they're able to say time on site is longer. So we have to understand that we're being pulled and there's a war for our attention, and we have to be even more intentional about taking control of our time.
Yeah, there's a reason why certain ads come up. Maybe
Yes.
you're on Instagram so much and they kind of know what you like, and you can get wrapped up in going down that rabbit hole.
It's very, very enticing. I really think it's harder today to take control of your time. We have to use more willpower. We have to say no far more often than 10 years ago, let alone 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah, it may be easier now. You click something, all of a sudden you have paper towels at your front door. We all love that.
It's nice and convenient.
It is convenient, but more difficult. If we tell our kids, look, enough with the screen time, you can't do the same, and you have to prioritize, because you say in the book, we all know, sounds like common sense, life is short, but it truly is. We're usually reminded when something bad happens.
And it doesn't have to be when something bad happens. I call it living timelessly, and all that means is that the choices that you make shouldn't just matter right now in this moment. It should be the things that would matter a month from now, a year from now, maybe even looking back 20 years from now, right? So when you're making those choices about how to spend your time, think about what's meaningful over what's urgent, which is really those false urgencies.
And what your legacy, what you want to leave behind, memories with your kids, or looking at John's Bermuda vacation and you have no idea.
You haven't seen John in 20 years, right?
Right, he's from high school. When someone is time poor, does that mean that they don't allocate it correctly in terms of their own life and what makes them happy?
Yeah, so research shows that many of us are living in time poverty, and that means that we're accumulating time debt. We have so many commitments that we can't get to them all today, so we commit ourselves into the future, whether it's next week, next year. And so we really have to say, how can I dig out of time debt? That was my journey and part of what really led me to write the book, because I've always struggled with time. Besides being a recovering procrastinator, and besides having just kind of issues, I realized I've got to deal with this, and this is a cultural issue. This isn't just individual. All of us are dealing with demands on our time.
Have you learned how to say no? Because that's been difficult for me. I could say it here, no, but very difficult when someone is asking of you.
You have to be very intentional. So I talk about these core vulnerabilities. One of mine is something called TIDS optimism, or time optimism, where you underestimate how long things take. So I've practiced being a positive pessimist, meaning being more accurate about how much time I need in order to get things done, in order to arrive on time. So you have to be very intentional about it.
And it de-stresses you overall, and you can live a better life. Valorie Burton, thank you so much. Here is the book. It's called It's About Time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Good advice. This is going to be my new book. I'm going to learn how to do it. Valorie, thank you.